Donovan.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
I'm doing great. And you?
I have had better days, but I won't complain at all.
Great. Very nice to talk to you here. I'm excited about this interview.
So am I.
So we really want to learn more about how Jamaica is bouncing back after Hurricane Melissa.
Okay.
So starting off with the Hurricane Melissa that hit October 28th devastated the country. Over $9 billion worth of damage, the most in history of Jamaica,
Yep.
right? What made the storm uniquely catastrophic? What do you think was the cause of that?
Well, causes of these hurricanes are any number of things, but mostly due to sea warming, global warming. This particular storm sat over the ocean waters for the better part of about 8 days before coming on shore in Jamaica, and specifically off the coast of Jamaica for the better part of 4 days. It was a massive storm in terms of size. The strength of the storm was the second strongest ever recorded at 892 millibars.
Wow.
By the time it came on land, it had 185 miles an hour wind and up to 250 miles an hour gusts. If you've ever, I like to explain it this way, if you've ever driven a car at 180 miles an hour, you probably only done it for 3 minutes or 4 minutes, if so long. This storm went across the western end of Jamaica over an 8-9 hour period at 185 miles an hour, moving at like 2 miles an hour.
Wow.
So just imagine 8 hours of being pelted by 185 mile an hour winds, a storm moving at less than 2 miles an hour. If you haven't driven 2 miles an hour, you know how slow that is.
Yeah. Completely
So,
devastating.
It is certainly the worst storm to ever hit Jamaica, and it is I believe, from the meteorological division, that it is the second worst storm ever recorded.
In the history of storms?
In the history of storms in the Caribbean, for sure.
Wow.
So it was massive and it was devastating, but we've been a resilient people and country. There's only been 3 named storms that have come on shore in Jamaica, and fun fact, each of those storms were 37 years apart.
Exactly 37 years.
1951, 1988, 2025.
Wow.
37 years in between each of those 3 storms.
So you have 37 years to
Well,
prepare
we hope
for
so.
the next.
At the rate of how the global seas are warming, I'm not so sure we'll have the same luck with 37 years. But we live in a hurricane region, and it's one of the challenges that we have to continually plan for. We have to continually develop for. And you learn from each of these storms, and you try to correct and do things better and change how you do some processes. So we've gone through that. We are going through it now, and the government of Jamaica is especially the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Right Honorable Andrew Holness, has been very hard, very strong on ensuring that we not only build back what's been damaged, but we build back more resilient and better for the future.
So what did you learn? Speaking of that, what did you learn from this storm that is going to help you in rebuilding infrastructure?
I think we, we as a country would have learned that having residential housing close by the shorelines or anywhere within reasonable distance of shorelines is probably not the best thing to do. And it also, building with different types of reinforcements, because as storms get worse over time, building codes also change. So what you had as building code in 1951, wouldn't help you in 1988, 37 years. And what you had in 1988 wouldn't help you in 2025.
Right.
So you're constantly in a period or process of evolving technology, evolving systems, processes, approaches, building and construction professionals are constantly also going through engineering evolution and trying to do things differently and better. So I think we're better off for it from the perspective of being able to take some of those corrective measures, but also the government through the Prime Minister has also said that the Jamaica that will emerge post Melissa will be not only more resilient but also a far more structurally proven and ready for future
what could come.
And what is to come. And so he has made that commitment, and we're students of history, and we try to ensure that we make the changes that are necessary for the benefit of the people.
Great. And as Director of Tourism, and tourism being your number one source of revenue in Jamaica, am I correct in saying that?
It is our number one industry and our number one foreign exchange earner. Yeah.
What were the immediate steps after Hurricane Melissa that you and the country took in order to start building back the tourism industry?
Interesting question, because it was, I don't know if you know what a pressure cooker is.
Yes.
So it was immediately a pressure cooker situation where all hands on deck, everybody, brought together. The Minister of Tourism, Edwin Bartlett, was his usual astute leadership self. He put together his task force immediately. There were some very critical people on that task force, including myself. My responsibility on the task force was evacuation and communication.
Okay.
And so my job was to ensure that we coordinate the evacuation of all the guests on island in the immediate days and hours after the storm. That was quite a task, as you can imagine, because for the areas that were hardest hit.
And which areas were those? These
would have been St. Elizabeth in the southwest, Westmoreland in the west and southwest as well. St. James, which includes Montego Bay, which is in the northwest, and Trelawney, which is in kind of mid-island, mid-island kind of thing. But so the storm, if I could, kind of use my hands to give you a sense of Jamaica is this long and this high. And if you break it up into three, you have the eastern portion over here, you have the middle, which is central Jamaica, and then you have the west over here. The storm came on shore here in the west, southwest, and went across the west, and then come back across and exited over Trelawney.
Okay.
So the western end got the worst damage, and so in the immediate aftermath, we had to be in touch with our hoteliers, be in touch with our transportation people. The airport, airport in Montego Bay also had damages. So a lot of the evacuation flights actually had to exit out of Kingston, which is on the eastern end of the island. And so we had to transport the guests on the north and west over to the east for them to be able to evacuate. To leave. So that in itself was a task. It took us probably about 4 or 5 days to get everybody off the island, which was quite a feat in and of itself, because as you can imagine, you have different types of travelers, and you have travelers who are going to panic and want to get home and want to get out, and then you have travelers who want the thrill of seeing and feeling what this is all about. They've never experienced a hurricane before. They don't want to leave, but we're saying you have to leave because the hotel is damaged, or and they need to do assessments and so on. So it was, but in all, I think the beauty of all of that exercise was to see how our hoteliers and their workers, even in the face of themselves having experienced damages at home,
Yeah, and their personal lives.
cared for the visitors to the country and ensured that they were taken care of, ensured that they had shelter where shelter was impeded, ensure they had water, food, and that they were properly packed up and ready to go when their bus was there to take them to the airport. It was an unbelievable level of professionalism with the
And hospitality as well, yeah.
of our workers. And then following that, once we got the people out of the country, then we had to assess the damage. We had to see, how badly things were, where was damage, how bad damage was. Power was down for most of that area, if not all of it. Water was out. Basic supplies. Most of the things like shops and groceries and wholesales and places where you can get supplies would have been damaged.
Yeah.
So it was a tough, I'd say, first 14 days, 21 days, just getting your hands around all the issues. But it was amazing to see how our utility companies, especially, particularly the power company and the water company, rallied their own troops and got to work and began the process of restoring power to critical areas, to critical infrastructure. And then the cleanup started in terms of, getting the National Cleanup Company out and about, removing debris. And while all this is happening, you now have to also care for the children, the elderly, the people who have lost homes, roofs.
Yeah.
So it was a all hands on deck approach, not just by tourism, but by the government of Jamaica. Bringing all the critical stakeholders together and ensuring that we were able to work our way out of it. The beauty about it is that when you think about other countries or cities that have gone through this kind of catastrophe, we were able to, within less than 30 days, restore power to critical infrastructure. Our airport was back open, Montego Bay. We had relief. We were able to receive relief efforts from countries from around the world within 4 days
There
or
was an
5 days.
outpouring of support.
Yeah, but the fact that we were able to get it in and get it on the ground and get it out into the various damaged community was amazing. So, to sum it all up, I mean, that collective will to get it done has been the hallmark of Jamaica's resilience. And we stand together as a people, and we struggle when we struggle as a people, and we rise as a people.
Struggle together, rise together.
And we have fun together as well.
It's amazing, actually phenomenal. And it brings me to my next question. It's been less than 90 days since Hurricane Melissa.
Yep.
December 15th, Jamaica declared tourism is open.
Yep.
You've welcomed over 300,000 guests.
Over 400 now.
Okay, over 400,000 guests in just 6 weeks post Hurricane Melissa. Can you talk about how you were able to accomplish that? And what were the wins and what's the ongoing challenges that you have? Because that's actually remarkable that you've been able to do that.
Yeah, it starts with leadership. On the day after the storm, our Minister Bartlett, he gave a charge to the industry that we must be ready to fully welcome the world back to Jamaica on December the 15th, which is the celebrated start of winter tour season.
Okay.
One of the challenges, obviously, was to ensure that we not only could welcome people, but we could do it in a way that was befitting of the destination experiences that people have come to expect. And so, importantly, our task force, led by my colleague John Biles, really stuck to the task. We met almost every single day. We tackled the critical issues. We made sure that everything that was needed by the hoteliers that were ready to open was ready for them, or the attractions, or the airport, or the transportation companies. There are tourism resort areas that had little or no effect at all, so they didn't close. So like Ocho Rios was open
the whole time,
right through. There are a few hoteliers that had what we call superficial damage that were able to go offline for a week or two and had those repairs and was ready again to go. Kingston was never closed at all. Portland had very little damage as well. So there were tourist resort areas that were still operating, and there are two major airports that were still open and receiving flights, Kingston and Ocho Rios. So we even though we said we were opening December 15th, that was really the symbolism of being back online fully.
in general, yeah.
But we had
never
guests
fully
coming
closed.
into the country and going out all through that period. But the significance of the 15th was very important, because during that time, part of what we had to ensure is that the cleanup exercise that needed to happen in the resort areas and the repairs that needed to happen in the resort areas had to be completed, so that the experience that guests will have will not deviate or differentiate much from what you're used to having.
Yeah.
So that was paramount. Equal to that would have been the welfare of the workers of the industry. I say all the time, and I know Minister says it as well, that the workers of our industry are our stars. They are who makes it all happen. Without them, there's no tourism.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that too.
Yeah. And so, what he insisted, and I'm sure you'll talk about it, is that the workers must be treated fairly and be taken care of, and where there was opportunity to provide relief for them, that must be instituted. Where there's opportunity for their employers to give them additional benefits, that must be instituted, and a lot of them did, if not all of them. And where they needed help, welfare and psychological help, or whatever it is they needed, they were to get it, because if we were to be successful at December the 15th, we couldn't do that without the workers being able to, be comfortably satisfied at home that they can return to work. And so that was critical.
I love that. I was actually going to ask, with the opening December 15th and all of the tourism that's coming in, a lot of times the big brands, the international brands, they benefit, of course. The question was, how about the craft vendors, tour guides, small guest house owners, the thousands of tourism workers? Like, how is the government ensuring that they're not left behind?
Well, interestingly, I said one was ensuring that we begin the process of removing debris and getting the pristine presentation of the destination back. Second was to ensure that our workers were being cared for and taken care of. The third was our small businesses. Small businesses are the drivers of our economy.
Locals,
They are the largest beneficiaries of the tourism dollar, spending by tourists in the destination. And two, they are the drivers of the circular economy, because they are at the pulse of everyday life. It's the corn soup vendor, it's the jerk pork vendor, it's the jerk chicken vendor, it's the cane man, the coconut man, the guy who sells juices, or the attractions, the small attractions, the bike company, the bicycle company, the car company, the taxi company. Those are the businesses that sit at the the edges of the product. They are the ones that make that difference in the experience to every visitor that comes to the country. The entertainers, the promoters, the people who bring it together for the guests to benefit from or to pay for a service. And that's the beauty of tourism anywhere in the world. You go to, any country in the world that is famous for tourism, and you can't escape having to do business with small businesses, with the locals. And so we pride ourselves on that. And the cruise tourism side of our business benefits even more from it. Because when you dock a ship in one of our 5 cruise ports, in Ocho, Montego Bay, Trelawney, and Kingston, and you have 5,000-6,000 people get off that ship, they're looking for something to do on the ground. They're either going to walk to something, to eat, to dance, to listen to music, to get a drink, to talk to locals, buy gifts, or they're going in a taxi to an attraction or to Bob Marley Museum or somewhere. And that's the commerce of the tourism business. That's where the spending in tourism happens. And so it sometimes is mistaken that tourism is driven by the big hotels and the big tour companies and the big airlines. Absolutely. That's at the top of the pyramid.
Top level, yeah.
But at the third tier of the pyramid is really where the economics happen. Certainly on the supply side.
Yeah.
At the top is a lot of the demand. It's the tour operators, the airline, the cruise lines. And then in the middle, you have the business owners, the big business owners. But at the bottom, you have the traders, the people who retail and do business and create experiences for tourists to
want to come back
and to come back to. More importantly, to spend in the economy.
Beautiful. So let's talk about market share. In terms of tourism to Jamaica, your biggest market share is U.S.
Yes.
and Canada.
Yeah.
What are the emerging markets that are coming up for tourism to Jamaica?
Interestingly, the biggest emerging market we have been able to crack the code for, which I have to give kudos to my team, because we've been working at Latin America now for the better part, I would say, of 8 years, in a major way, and interrupted by COVID, and interrupted by so many other small things. But I think we've cracked the code with Latin America.
Okay.
We're up from like 0.5% of Latin America to 2% this year, 2025. Our goal is to get to 10% market share from Latin America by the end of 2027. And I think we're well on the way of doing that. We've been able to open a number of key airline hubs in Latin America, particularly out of Panama, Lima, and now Bogota in Colombia. Next on our aim is to crack open Mexico City and Brazil, probably Sao Paulo. And we believe there's also opportunity in places like Medellin in Colombia as well. But that's a huge emerging market for us.
Yeah.
Additionally, we have had our eyes set firmly on India and the Middle East, and we're gonna get a little bit more focus on that for this year and next year, and then next in line, and probably simultaneously will be Africa.
Okay.
I really have a strong sense of the opportunity that presents to ourselves out of Africa. But interestingly, you ask about market share and you asked about North America, because there are many ways to grow a business, but I certainly believe that our goal is not to grow more market share out of North America. It is to grow our global market size. By doing that, I will still grow out of North America every single year, but my market share will get less out of there, which means my dependence and reliance in terms of creation of business opportunities will become less and less critical and less reactive to shocks. That will happen from time to time, economic and otherwise. But as we grow our global market size, it means I'm taking business from different parts of the world.
Right.
And I am divvying up my market share differently because I'm getting more people to come to Jamaica and more from everywhere, including the United States and Canada.
So would you say that would cause a decline in your U.S. market share?
The market share number will go down, but the actual number of guests will go up.
Overall number will go up.
Yeah, so that's the point. So your size get bigger in terms of your overall number of guests coming to the country.
Right.
Where they come from will be more diverse. So you'll have less dependence on any one market.
I love what you did, like the initiative with Latin America and the number of years that it took.
Yep.
I'd love to know what type of initiatives you'll try for the African and diaspora market, because as you know, it's a huge market.
Yep.
You know, Africans abroad, not just coming from Africa, coming from all different parts of the world, are traveling to the Caribbean already.
Right.
So what kind of things do you think you can do to increase the footprint of that type of tourism?
The formula really doesn't change. The formula is around creating the right relationships and building those relationships in a strategic way so that they become win-win relationships. Win for me, win for you, and win for the traveler.
Yeah.
That means that we have to create relationships with the right demand creators. The demand creators are your tour operators who are established in the marketplace that drive demand, that have the right relationships and connections. You then have to build relationships with the airline carriers because you can't swim from Africa to Jamaica.
Right.
You got to fly. And so we have to build the right airlift arrangements in the right places.
Right.
So it's great to get a plane to fly, but you don't want a plane to fly this week and then don't fly next week. So you have to build the right relationship with the right types of carriers who are, again, seeing a win-win situation, right? And so once you establish that kind of demand creation engine from a B2B standpoint, then it's about how do I stimulate those engines, which is where marketing and promotions come in.
Right.
So then we have to commercialize the market with Brand Jamaica, with the benefits of traveling to Jamaica, with our product offerings, and understanding, of course, what the African community and travelers from Africa are looking for and what are their passions.
Yeah.
So we have to do some research and do that kind of work. So as you can see, immediately I'm talking about time.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Time is the important component. There is nothing that we're going to do in that space that is going to happen overnight.
Right.
It will take time to build the right structures, to build the right relationships, to get those relationships interconnected, to bring those people to Jamaica, to immerse them in the product, train them on the product, get them to understand what we're offering, what you can offer, what is for sale, what's not for sale, introduce them to our stakeholder partners so that they can do contractual relationships and begin to build packages. And then you can begin to build a business around moving people from Africa over to Jamaica. So the process is very involved, but it's very, it can be carefully done. It does take some resources to do it. The travel time it will be long haul. You're talking about 8-9 hours of fly, depending on the routes, or depending on where in Africa you're coming from. But we have people flying from China to Jamaica.
Yeah, people coming from
Dubai,
and
and doing connections in different places, which lengthen the travel time to as far as 24 hours. Sometimes, depending on where you're coming from or where you're connecting from. But we believe there are routes that can get from Africa to the Caribbean in 8 hours. Yeah, probably flying through.
Have you been exploring those?
Yeah, we have been. We have been. So we're in the exploratory stage now of understanding what that market potential is and what the opportunities are and who are the relationship partners that we need to connect with. And I think once we're able to to get past that kind of connecting the dots
Right.
phase, then we can get into the business of
The
really
next
trying
phase.
to understand how we build that business. Yeah. Which is similar to what we did in Latin America.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a gradual process, but
Absolutely.
at least you've recognized the need to tap into that market and
Absolutely.
have started working on it. So
Yep. And we're going to continue to do that.
that's great. Now, official projections are saying December 2026 that you'll have a full recovery. Given what you did in 90 days, you feel like that timeline is realistic, that by the end of this year?
All things being equal, in economics we say ceteris paribus. But yes, all things being equal, we believe that end of 26, probably extended to first quarter 27, we will be back to growth mode. This year will be recovery and resilience,
Yeah.
where we are reasserting ourselves, re-engineering and solidifying partnerships and relationships, re-engaging the traveling public through our commercial activities, and building new business models around other segments of tourism. Weddings is one that we're a big wedding destination. We want to bring that business back. We're a big MICE destination for groups, conventions, incentives, and events. And we are in with all of our MICE partners around the world, having those discussions, bringing them into Jamaica early this year to make sure that, they also understand that we're open for business.
Okay.
And a lot of the preferred business partners that they like to deal with in Jamaica are open for business as well. We expect to have back all of our major hotel partners that are currently in refurbishing and rebuilding mode by the end of the year.
Okay.
I think the last set should be reopened by November of this year.
Is that the
That's one of the Hyatt companies.
Hyatt?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Hyatt has many hotels in Jamaica,
Yeah.
so they'll be opening over a phase basis as well. So it is a structured approach. We have been able to meet with and maintain relationships with our airlines, especially those out of North America, who have stood behind us solidly and haven't, yes, they've made adjustments to schedules and routes and seat capacity, but that is also in keeping with matching that with the room capacity that is also available.
What's the room capacity right now that's available?
Right now we have 16,850 rooms open, which is about 65,
like
66,
70%,
about
okay.
70% of our room stock. We have about 8,900 rooms still closed and opening in different phases.
Okay.
Every month there is at least 300 rooms coming back online. There's a whole structured approach to why the numbers are projected the way they are to the end of the year. And we feel very confident in that, again, all things being equal.
Now, with other Caribbean destinations that were not affected by Hurricane Melissa, people have options of other places they can go. What are you doing to convince people to come to Jamaica?
Again, it really is about the relationships that we've built over years of being one of the most storied tourism destinations globally. We're a small company, but we're a small country, but we're a massive brand globally that is recognized, understood, and people have a love affair with Jamaica. And that doesn't give us comfort that we're going to get complacent.
Yeah.
And so we are very, very active and very focused on ensuring that we are staying at the leading edge of branding, marketing, commercial development, and communication. So we've turned on the jets in terms of ensuring that our communication channels are properly populated, ensuring that our access platforms online are properly populated with information that travelers want.
Yeah.
That our hoteliers that are open, that they're also complementing what we do to promote the destination, to promote their business in Jamaica. And that we're using all the advertising and marketing channels, both traditional and digital and new media, that we have access to ensure that the message of our availability as a known, loved destination is out there, and that people are responding to it. And hence why we've already seen since Melissa, less than 90 days as you put it, over 400,000 visitors have been to Jamaica, spending more than $450 million US in revenue. So from that perspective, the recovery is well on its way.
Yeah.
Now what we have to do is to continue to serve those engines and to serve those platforms the right type of content and the right type of information that makes relevant to people who are looking to travel and looking for a reason to travel, to ensure that Jamaica is always presented as a viable option.
Yeah, so just keep the engines running and keep the message going no matter what.
We're not just keeping the engine running, we're actually revving them really good right now.
Revving them really good. I see. So are there any new initiatives that you're working on that you'd like to share?
New initiatives. There's always initiatives.
Jesus. I'm sure.
But as I said, one of the big areas or segment of this business that we would have lost because of the hurricane, that we are very focused on bringing back, or certainly re-engaging heavily, is the romance sector, which is weddings and honeymoons, because they travel in large groups.
Yeah.
When you have a big wedding of 300 people, 500 people that do hotel takeovers and destination takeovers, and they use all the services. They use the airport, they use the hotel, they use the
shopping,
the venues, the shopping, they use the gift shops, they use the excursions, they use the tailors, they use the spinsters, they use the florists, and that's what I talk about, the circular economy that tourism generates. It opens up the entire business sector to benefiting from the activities within tourism. And minister like to say that tourism owns nothing, but it uses everything. It's a consumption-based industry.
Yeah.
One I like to use as an anecdote is something as simple as eggs. A tourist probably consumes as much as 6 times more eggs than a regular Jamaican. Think about it. I as a Jamaican, I probably eat eggs twice a week, if I eat that many.
Okay.
A tourist eats eggs every day.
Oh yeah, you have to have the breakfast.
Because eggs is in everything, though. It's in the breakfast, it's in the pastry.
That's true.
It's in the drinks, it's in the pies, it's anything you can think of that deals with baking and texturing, eggs in it.
Yeah.
So the consumption of eggs, the provision of eggs to the industry for consumption is massive. And that's just one product or one commodity.
Yeah.
Think of everything else.
Right.
It's the same approach.
Multiplier effect.
And so that's why tourism is so pervasive, not just for Jamaica, but for more than 220 countries around the world today.
Well, I'm really impressed with how you guys are building back, and really look forward to learning more about your initiatives and seeing the actual growth that is happening. So thank you so much for this interview, for shedding light into what you did and what you're continuing to do. And I'm looking forward to seeing the growth.
Thank you so very much. And thank you to your brand, Munaluchi, for giving us this opportunity. And we certainly look forward to creating more opportunities for you to partner with us and do more in terms of our wedding space.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. Thanks.